Hello, true believers. Welcome to my channel, Mr. Miracle Comics. My name is Dave, and today we have 5 more undervalued comic books to take a look at. So I'm being joined for the intro here by my little buddy Jammer. Say hi, buddy. Here, look at the camera. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you're a good-looking boy. Okay, so I really, I've got a lot of new subscribers lately. I really appreciate that, guys. For anybody that wants to subscribe, if you're giving this a watch and you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. It really helps me out. Plus, this is not the kind of channel that's going to spam your notifications like crazy, right? I put out a video every 2 weeks on Friday. That's about all that I'm going to do. Every once in a while, we do a show called Graders Notes, but that only happens once every couple months. Other than that, it's just spec videos. You're not going to get cat videos or videos about what I was eating for lunch or anything. I won't, spam your feed at all. So if you could please give me a subscribe and a like for this video, that would be most appreciated. And everybody that has subscribed and liked, really appreciate all of the people that are subscribing. Plus, if you hit notifications, you're not gonna, miss when I drop that video on Friday. Okay, shameless plug over. Let's get to some comic books. So where are we in the spec? We're watching Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We're on episode 3 now. It's just not driving the spec in the same way, right? I think a lot of the characters were kind of, the cat was out of the bag about them, right? And it's been right. So, we've seen stuff that rumors were all true. Flag Smashers, Walker there as Captain America, Battlestar, all these things have, planned out. And, if you had spec'd on those stuff, when it was coming out, good for you, because a lot of those comic books have seen a rise and whatnot. Um, yeah, I think Loki's probably going to drive a lot more spec when we get closer to that one. And that's coming out in June, I believe. So, like, Marvel is hitting it, man. Like Disney, there's going to be so much stuff happening in the next 10 years on that streaming service and in the movie theaters and, with Star Wars, with Marvel properties, with Disney's own Disney stuff, right? And yeah, I think, they've got a 10-year plan for this, and we're just along for the ride. Do I think that people will see like comic book fatigue for the comic book movies? It depends, right? As long as they're good quality, good storytelling, people just don't get tired of that. It doesn't matter if it's a superhero or, an action star or, a comedian or whatever. Good storytelling is good storytelling and will always, you know, have an audience for good storytelling. You can have all the special effects in the world. If the storytelling in your movie sucks, you won't have a success. People now, like we have said, CGI for such a long time at such a high level, that kind of stuff, it's impressive, but it's not the be all end all of a movie. People want good storytelling now. You can't just draw them in like you did with Avatar. And, Avatar was an iffy story at best, but the special effects were something no one had seen anymore. So it made $1 billion at the box office. That kind of thing just isn't going to work anymore, right? You have to have good storytelling. So for the next 10 years, Disney's going to want to put out 3 movies a year and 5 streaming shows for Marvel, 3 movies a year and 5 streaming shows a year for Star Wars. That leaves a lot of spec going to happen in the next 10 years. And, we'll keep this channel going and we'll spec along with all of you guys. And hopefully we can get some books into our collection before they get hot. Be able to flip them if you want to, or just put them up on Instagram and brag that you had this 2 years ago, right? Because you're ahead of the curve. Like, anyway, enough rambling. Let's get on to some. Okay, so the first book on our list comes from 2016, and this book was actually recommended to me from Newbie Comics. If you haven't gone to his channel, I will leave a link below, and you can definitely go and check out his comic book channel. It's very good. He's got lots of great stuff. So he recommended this, and I thought it was a great pick, so I'm going to bring it to my audience as well. And it is from 2016, and it is Assault on Pleasant Hill Omega, part of the Standoff, right? And this has the first time a character, Avril Kincaid, turns into Quasar, the next Quasar, right? So she's a shield agent, and she's all involved in the mix with all these superheroes, and she needs something to stop them. And Wendell Vaughn ends up giving her the quantum bands, and she becomes the next Quasar. Very good pick in my opinion. One that is super cheap, like really, really cheap. You can buy this for less than cover price usually. I bought this one and the variants, all the different copies of the variants here, right? It's the Steranko variant. There's a bunch of there's a bunch of version variant, textless variants as well. But they didn't have any when I went and looked for them. But I'm pretty happy grabbing all of these. For all four of them were $10, so they were half the cover price. In the back bins, that's a nice buy. All absolutely mint. They would all be 9.8s in the unread comic books. So, right, good deal. There's been a lot of talk about Quasar, right? And like we said, Disney's got plans 10 years out, right? So they're looking to find characters that they can bring in now that can lead to other characters that can continue on, especially if a character is popular, right? So if they bring in Quasar, he may be around for a while. He, like a lot of the other characters, all of a sudden they show up with like a mirrored younger character, right? You know, Hawkeye, Kate Bishop, Ant-Man, you know, all that stuff. They're all getting these sort of younger versions of themselves that are going to move forward, which is a smart play, right? You need young actors, newer characters to bring in newer audience members that are going to carry your franchise 10 years into the future, right? And to have these actors not age out of the character. You can draw a Marvel character in a comic book forever and keep them the same age, but actors age. So you got to get these young guys so they're not going to age out on the character and just become too old to really go through the Marvel regiment. If you're an actor in a Marvel movie, you have to work out like crazy, and you know that's still going to appeal to characters and seem superhero-ish, right? Even 10 years down the road. So Avril is quite a bit younger than Wendell Vaughn. We could see her, you know, as a kind of a new agent being put into here and then becoming Quasar, you know, a much younger Quasar than Wendell Vaughn is, and carrying on that Quasar into the future. So this is the first time Avril Kincaid becomes Quasar, and it's from 2016. It is Assault on Pleasant Hill standoff event, right? Like I said, you can get all the variants and everything for the same price. Yeah, first time Avril Kincaid becomes Quasar. Good pick. One pick that we failed to mention, and it comes from 2016 as well, and I know everybody's specking on number 6, but let's see, like I was just walked over to the bins in my LCS and found number 7, because number 7, Sam Wilson, Captain America, this is a variant cover, is the first appearance of Avril Kincaid, right? So this is the first time she shows up as a SHIELD agent here, and you know, obviously part of the standoff event, and it goes on in her storyline so that she becomes Quasar. But this is her first appearance. Like I said, everybody's going for number 6 because that's the Winter Soldier appearance, but here we got number 7, which everybody is kind of flipping by, and still not bad. I got this for cover price, which was $5.99, right out of my LCS, so no shipping or anything on that guy. And again, absolutely mint condition, never read copy, perfect, right? So it would easily be a 9.8. She's not a character that will show up, you know, in any kind of property in the next, 2 years. But if we see Quasar, I bet you we're going to see something that, where Wendell Vaughn passes on the quantum bands, right? She passes the torch on to the next set of heroes. And if they're keeping with the comic books and they want to keep fans happy, they will go with Avril Kincaid. So this is her first appearance from 2016. Look to pay around cover price of about $6 for that guy. Excellent. Like I said, that was a variant copy. There's some other copies as well. So last time, let's do some DC spec. Last time we focused in on Black Beetle, right? Who could be a character that ends up being the big villain in the Blue Beetle movie, right? So everybody's specking on Robbie Reyes' first appearance and his first appearance as the Blue Beetle. We grabbed those up a long time ago. We spec'd on those, so we're going to keep going with our Blue Beetle spec. And one of the ones that I want to bring up, and it is from 2006, and it is Blue Beetle number 3. And what happens in Blue Beetle number 3? is the first appearance of a character called La Dama. Right, so La Dama is one of Blue Beetle's big bad guys. She's underworld boss, and she ends up having all this kind of power and stuff. She ends up in one kind of alternate storyline. She ends up killing half the Justice League, and she could have enslaved all the Earth and everything like that. She's quite powerful in that one. Another, she learns Blue Beetle's true identity, and he learns hers, and they kind of become adversaries. And she's sort of streets out. So will Adama show up as the big baddie in the first movie? No, I think they're going to go more spacey with that one. I think Black Beetle is a safer bet, but Adama could show up, and if there is any kind of a sequel to that movie, she could very well be the sequel villain as well, right? So this could be a long-term spec. Now, this one, it goes for a little more because it also has the first appearance of the second Peacemaker in it, right? So we know a Peacemaker showed up in the Suicide Squad trailers and everything like that. And so a lot of his stuff has gone a little nuts, but not too nuts that is out of the range of being still undervalued. I don't know. I'm pretty sure like that first Peacemaker is the Charlton one from way back when. So that this is kind of an odd spec on why it would be the second one. However, I think Ladama being her first appearance in here is a much better spec, and you can still find this book for around the $15 range. Like I said, it's a little more pricey than you would normally find for this kind of comic, but at $15, I still think that this could see a nice little bump in price, and who knows, the second Peacemaker may show up if Peacemaker's a really popular character that John Cena carries on, and they want to carry on the Peacemaker name after John Cena wants to give up the character. Could show up with this guy too, but that could be a long time. More likely that you're going to see Ladama first, and as a Black Beetle villain, and I think at $15 this is still a good spec book. So from 2006, Blue Beetle number 3, first appearance of Ladama. All right. And let's continue on. We'll do another Blue Beetle spec because Blue Beetle is hot right now, so we want to grab these comics before other people kind of catch on and they become really hot comics too. So this one is from 2007, and it is Blue Beetle number 12. All right, so here in Blue Beetle number 12, we have the first appearance of the Reach. So the Reach are a group of space aliens that come to Earth. They give Blue Beetle the costume, and they kind of pretend to be, friendly guys. They're setting up a hero to help Earth with, the Blue Beetle, but really they're invaders, right? They kind of come to Earth, pretend they're good guys, and then, take over, right? So I very much think that the Reach could be involved, right? They are the ones that gave him the Blue Beetle costume with the scarab. They're the ones that give Black Beetle his costume. They're Earth, they're invaders, right? I think they're going to really want to hit a big CGI space movie with this one, right? Kind of catch up to Marvel cosmic wise. So not only we see Black Beetle, but there could be some kind of an alien invasion, which would definitely be the Reach. This book is way under the radar right now. Can easily be found for less than cover price. I got this one out of the back bins. Nobody's paying attention to number 12, right? So I really do think it's a good spec. I think that the Reach is going to show up and be the kind of the antithesis of why the whole movie's happening, right? On this invasion, but they're going to come in as nice guys. It's a good storyline. I like it, and I think that the movie script writers will like it as well and bring the Reach in. Anyways, so from 2007, it is the Blue Beetle number 12, right? Look to pay cover price or less for this guy, and this is an unread mint condition copy of that book. All right, so that was a lot of modern books, right? Normally we got to throw in something, so I had to throw in a little bit of a Copper Age, Bronze Age, early late Bronze Age book, and I still like this spec. It's a Doctor Strange spec. I did bring it up before, but I'm going to bring it up again because I keep seeing stuff, and it really kind of leads me that this guy just might show up in the Doctor Strange movie. And so this book comes from 1978, and it is a Marvel Team Up number 68, Spider-Man and the Man-Thing. That's not why I'm specking on it. So this has the first appearance of a character called Despair. Okay, so Despair is one of the Fear Lords. He owns his own, sort of universe, or reality of madness that he controls. That he's like the big guy, much like people have been expecting on Shumengaroth. He has his own plane of existence and is a big baddie there. Annihilus has his own plane of existence and he's a big baddie there. Well, Despair has his own, but Despair is also the guardian of a place called the Nexus of all realities, right? So he's basically guards, lives by this gateway. Um, that's the gateway to all realities. So if you're going to go into a multiverse of madness, um, it seems to me like showing up at the nexus of all realities might be a place that would end up being in the movie, and Despair might be the guy there that they have to like deal with to get through the nexus, right? Um, Despair is also one of those characters. He's cool looking. He's really cool looking, but he's not going to take a bunch of CGI to make him in there, right? So he's a cheap character to put in the movie as well. You don't have to spend huge bucks CGIing out this character called Despair, right? It's not like a big weird looking guy or anything like that. He's cool looking and stuff. He's also, half popular. He's not like a big major character like Nightmare, although he's related to Nightmare. Nightmare is also one of the Fear Lords. He has a lot of connections to Shumengaroth and a lot of connections to Doctor Strange. So if they do end up going to the Nexus of all realities to, split off into the multiverse, what they're doing very much, it could very well be Despair guarding that, right? Some sort of a little scene where they're fighting Despair. I don't think he's got the chops to be a major, major villain in a movie, but like I said, he could be, that guardian guy or part of the Fear Lords or something like that, and still show up. Also, one of his powers is to cause madness, right? So it kind of fits in the whole narrative as well. Um, I know they're going to want to throw in a few kind of just odd characters. Sam Raimi, right? He kind of does that kind of stuff. So Despair, I think, is not a solid lock, but I think it's a good choice, and especially at the price that you can get this book right now. You can easily find this book in the $5 to $10 range. There's some people that are asking crazy money for it. Don't overpay for this book. It's not a hard book to find. Like, you can easily, a really nice copy of it in the $5 to $10 range. Marvel Team Up isn't exactly the most sought after title out there. They've got its few keys here and there, but this one definitely flies under the radar, and it could end up being a character that makes an appearance in a Doctor Strange movie, right? The Nexus of all realities. All right. So from 1978, Marvel Team Up number 68. Look to pay somewhere around $5 to $10 for a nice copy of that book. All right, so that's been our spec this week, you guys. Thanks again for watching. I really, really appreciate it. And like I said, if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. It really helps me out. And I'm almost at 2K. And again, thanks for watching, guys. Just want to remind you, Wednesdays might be new comic day, but every day is old comic book day. I'll see you next video. This has been Mr. Miracle.